Hey everyone, welcome to Kernels, where we discuss short films. Today's short film is The Spider Within from 2024. It came out towards the end of last week. We're recording this on Easter Sunday, 3/31/24. It's directed by Jarrell Dampier. Since this is so new, isn't typical for our Kernels, we want to give everyone a spoiler warning. We might dive a little bit into the storyline of this short and want to give everyone a heads up before we get into it.
Yeah, there's not much that goes on with this in terms of story wise.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the biggest downsides you will probably get from this is that if you're looking for like Spider-Man or Miles
Mm-hmm.
Morales, like you're getting Miles Morales and not like the Spider-Man that you're like looking for. So
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not
that
the
could be a
typical
downside.
Spider-Verse. Yeah. Oh, and then like the full title is The Spider Within a Spider-Verse Story. So I guess it's like a one-off. They may have more leading up to the next Spider-Verse film. But yeah, I think I anticipated this being maybe like 20 minutes and them giving like a nice little side story while we wait for the next film.
Mm.
And that wasn't this. This was more, hey, Miles is going through some shit and he's now open enough to have this conversation with his dad.
Yeah, I get that too, where it's like, yeah, I totally thought since it was like Sony, it's like Sony made
Mm-hmm.
and everything, like it's all proper.
Like it was legit,
That
yeah.
yeah,
Art.
you would think like they'll put like, all right, it's all everyone in there that whoever voices Miles, it's the
Mm-hmm.
guy from Dope, right?
Yeah, guy from Dope,
Yeah.
and then ATL is his dad,
Oh,
Paper Boy.
so that, but yeah, it's kind of like nice to see the human aspect of the Miles Morales, basically. Like he's still a
Yeah,
young kid. I think that's the whole thing about the story that
yeah.
he's like this young kid that has to deal with everyday life too.
And it seems like he's mature. Like based on this, it seems like he's maturing into his role as Spider-Man. It's like, okay, hey, this is a lot, and I guess that's one thing they touched on without like saying it. Like in, I want to say minority communities, it's not typical for us to talk about our feelings, and this was showing like, hey, he wanted to go down that realm of like, nah, I'm not going to talk about my feelings. I'm going through something right now, and it's difficult. But he put that aside and was like, okay, hey, I do need help. So I
Hmm.
do like that they touched on that without like straight up saying, hey, Miles is going to go through therapy or Miles needs assistance from a parent.
Yeah, that is true. And Miles is unique in terms of like his background is both the
Puerto
two kind of
Rican.
masculine kind of ones that don't
Yeah.
talk about like mental health or anything and stuff. Like he
Mm-hmm.
has a Hispanic background, he has the black background.
Yeah. Afro
Two of the
Latino.
backgrounds that you're like,
Nah,
no, don't say
shove that
anything about.
down. Shove that down. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and so it's kind of nice, but then it's like you kind of like see like here like seeing his dad and everything. Like his dad is like, yeah, he's a big dude and everything. He's
Mm-hmm.
intimidating and stuff. He's a cop,
Scared of
but he,
movies.
he's there watching scary movies by himself.
Freaking himself out.
Yeah, so I really like this because it's like even Patty. I watched this with Patty, and she was like, "Oh, like he's having a panic attack." And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, like this is like he has anxiety and like panic attacks. So it's like a
Yeah.
very real. It's almost like a Pixar. I think like you know how like Pixar
Yeah.
makes those like
The
20 like 10 minute
emotional.
things that like
Mm-hmm.
between their movies. This is totally what it reminds me of.
Yeah. I do like that they stuck with the art style though. Like they didn't try to veer away from that since it was so short. And that sleep paralysis demon that he was seeing was creepy as hell too.
Yeah, so it's like you get the exact same art style that you get.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's like what instantly kind of like appeals to this short film and then the whole Spider-Verse thing is that they kind of hit it out of the ballpark with like what the style that they decided to use for these
Yeah.
movies and the character. And but you still get all that. You still get Miles being voiced by the dude that voices Miles and stuff, and so you and then you get some creepy like
Some
spider
very
and
creepy demon. Yeah. Oh,
demon
all the
and
spiders everywhere too. Yeah. I wasn't ready for that.
yeah, like I guess in terms of like we both I think generally like this, and even
Hmm.
Patty loved this and stuff in terms of like what it conveyed and stuff in terms of like the mental health and all that.
Yeah.
But do you recommend this to like a Spider-Man fan?
That's the tough part because I tried to have a conversation with a friend about this. Like, hey, did you know I think it was right after I watched it. I was like, hey, you know that they're releasing or released a new Spider Verse short. And they go, oh, what's it about? And I was like, oh yeah, it's not actually about the movie. It's more of a mental health short than anything that has Miles as the focal point. So I think if you pitch it as like you said, a Pixar esque short,
Mm.
somebody would be more into it. Like, hey, go into it, you get to see Miles Morales interact with his father, but it's not really going to give any details about the upcoming film. Like, just look at it as a Pixar short with emotions, and that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, I think that's like the only way you can kind of sell it because like if you're excited about seeing Spider-Man swinging around
Which I
and all
was.
this stuff, I know which you kind of do go into this, and so that kind of does disappoint you a little bit. But when you like hear about or like feel the story that they're saying, it's a very important story to kind of show, and even superheroes can
Yeah,
have these
emotional
problematic
breaks.
times, yeah, and so or have the weight of the world being placed on them and all that stuff. So yeah, it's kind of a hard sell where it's like if someone like is really looking for like a Spider-Man thing, then watch the movie. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think these are
there's more
like a
than
little
enough of them.
tidbit you can learn about yourself. You can learn about an emotion that maybe most people are experiencing. But
Just bottling it in.
I enjoyed this, and I like. I'm assuming we're gonna see more of this, right? Like,
I'm
there's another
hoping.
Spider-Man Spider Verse movie.
Yeah, I think the next film is 2025, unless they've pushed it. But I think it's 2025 as of right now.
Man, right now that's gonna come up pretty quick. So,
Hell yeah, yeah,
so yeah, so we will probably be seeing more of this and everything. We know we'll see more Miles Morales and stuff, in terms of feature films. But I wonder if they'll still do more of these. I actually would prefer a little bit more of these too.
yeah. I hope they give us some more like leading up to like they did with this. Like, hey, here's a short. Like we are working on the film, but here's something to tie you over
Yeah,
for at least for a little bit. I hope they give
yeah,
us some
right.
more of those.
I like that. All right. Well, if you've seen the Spider Within, it's a Spider Verse story,
Hmm.
right? And so we'll have a link to it on in our description. You can find it on YouTube. You can watch it for yourself. If you've seen it, please tell us if you liked it, disliked it in the comments, and please like and subscribe to Saturday Night Popcorn for more kernels like these.